Why am I feeling this way, and what can I do? Every year, nature provides a moral lesson that teaches us valuable lessons about how we can relate to the darkest moments in our lives. Starting in mid-October, daytime hours begin to get shorter and temperatures drop. Fog lies low over the land and rain drives hard across the land. We are constantly being bombarded with information, and it has become difficult to filter out what is important from what is not. Our minds are constantly processing the information we receive, and this can lead to a feeling of overwhelm. One of the best ways to combat this feeling is by taking a break from your work and doing something you enjoy. This could be reading a book, spending time with friends, or even just taking a walk outside. Our minds have their ups and downs too. We are not always able to be productive, creative, or focused. There are times when it is necessary for us to rest and reflect on things even if we do not feel like it. I think what you mean is that it's hard to stay focused and keep your creativity up regularly. You might feel less motivated or emotionally engaged depending on what your current mood is like. The consensus is that many of us these days experience feelings of brooding melancholy due to our fast-paced lifestyles and increased distractions from work life. Where are our ideas and hopes? It'll take time for everything to come back, but we should be reassured by the late November landscape. Right now, things seem lifeless and cold, but eventually, they'll recover. But this certainly is not the end of the story. The Earth is like this not as a destination but as a phase. What does the body say about the emotions you're feeling? Body language is the most powerful form of nonverbal communication because it's a universal language. It's how we communicate without words. Body language is a form of nonverbal communication that is mostly unconscious and automatic, making it difficult to control. All living things need to recharge, old leaves must give way, and tired limbs need a rest. This restless dance could not continue forever. The ferment and dance would stop. It may look like nothing at all is happening. It may appear as though this is a trance without purpose. Deep underground, new reserves are being stored for future growth and prosperity. It may not be apparent at first, but soon enough summer will be here again. In the natural world, all things are sometimes in bloom and sometimes withered. It is nature's way of showing us that we must occasionally cease activity, taking time off or getting confused. The flowers come back. You will also make a return to what you once were or did. Everything gets overlaid. We should appreciate and accept the changes that winter brings. With nature's special accommodation, it makes us stronger with serenity and patience for life's challenges. What happens when you stop crying? The article is about how crying can be bad for your health. It talks about how it can cause stress, dehydration, and even break down muscle tissue. The article also mentions that crying is a natural stress response, but it should not be the only way to deal with it. This article is relevant because it gives people an insight into what happens when they stop crying and what the possible outcomes are. Exercise for when you're feeling too quiet and numb. What's your game plan? To get out of a state of feeling numb and quiet, we need to first identify the problem. What is it that's making us feel this way? Is it because we're dealing with a loss or trauma? Is it because we're feeling overwhelmed by our responsibilities? Or is it because of something else entirely? Once we've identified the problem, then we can come up with a plan for how to deal with it. We can decide whether or not to confront the people who are causing this feeling in us, or if we want to take some time for ourselves. We can also explore different options such as yoga, meditation, mindfulness exercises, etc. Mindful steps to take when you feel like quitting. Quitting is not always the best option. In fact, it can be even more difficult to get back on track once you have quit. Here are some mindful steps to take when you feel like quitting. Consider what is pushing you to quit and ask yourself if this feeling is temporary or permanent. Evaluate your reasons for quitting and see if they are worth it. Ask yourself what would happen if you did not quit. Talk to someone who has been in a similar situation before.